Mehmet Okonsar was born in Istanbul, Turkey, October 20, 1961. His first schooling was in Paris. He started studying piano and composition at the oldest music conservatory in Turkey, the National Conservatory of Ankara, founded by Paul and Nimet. The library of the Conservatory of Ankara was at that time a rich resource for a knowledge-hungry young musician. Mehmet Okonsar got acquainted there with the works of Pierre Boulez, Edgar Varese, Ernest Krenek, all composers which will have an undeniable influence on the grown artist. This lasted, however, for a short period of time. And then his family moved to Belgium, where he became a pupil of the great Belgian pianist Jean-Claude Vanden Eynden at the Royal Conservatory of Brussels. Mr. Vanden Eynden is a dedicated follower of the pianistic style and approach of Eduardo del Puyo. The keyboard approach and technique of del Puyo and his pupil, Vanden Eynden, Okonsar's primary teacher, are based on the principles of Marie Jacqueline, a student of Franz Liszt. The political instability and turbulences in Turkey during the late 70s forced the family back to Ankara, where he connected with a former student of Pierre Boulez. The pianistic vision of Okonsar then became an amalgam of the styles of Eduardo del Puyo, Jean-Claude Vanden Eynden, Pierre Boulez, and can even be traced back to Ignat, Marie Jacqueline, Franz Liszt. However, one of the most important persons to shape Okonsar's artistic vision has yet to come. He was going to meet Alexis Weissenberg later. His debut recital took place in 1979. The program included the preludes by Messiaen and the pictures of an exhibition by Mussorgsky. A staggering military coup took place in Turkey in 1980. The Okonsar family returned to Belgium. He resumed studying with Jean-Claude Vanden Eynden. During his studies at the Royal Conservatory of Brussels, he was selected as one of only 4 students among the entire conservatory for advanced and intensive training at the European Centre of High Musical Studies, an institution created by Vanden Eynden for the education of exceptionally gifted students as concert pianists. This institution is now known as École Eduardo del Puyo. In 1980, Mehmet Okonsar was rewarded the Premier Prix with distinction. His program included the Dante Sonata by Liszt. He graduated from the Royal Conservatory of Brussels, Diplome Supérieur of Piano with the highest distinction and nominated first. He performed at the exam, the Concerto for Piano Opus 42 by Arnold Schoenberg. Aiming for a complete musicianship, Okonsar pursued his studies at the Royal Conservatory of Brussels, on musical composition and orchestration, with one of the leading Belgian composers of our time, Madame Jacqueline Fontyn. A former student of Henri Dutilleux, and, herself, Prix de Rome. He also studied music composition and analysis with Claude Ballif, a pupil of Messiaen. In 1989, He gets his degrees in composition and orchestration from the Royal Conservatory of Music of Brussels. He won the prestigious Grand Prix of Young Virtuoses in Antwerp at the age of 20. This led to his orchestral debut, performing the third piano concerto by Rachmaninoff, in the de Saint-Gale Concert Hall of the same city. In 1991, after winning the 6th prize at the Gina Bachover International Piano Competition, at Salt Lake City, Utah, Mehmet Okonsar is pursuing a busy activity of international concert pianist. His other nominations and awards include Johann Sebastian Bach Competition, 2nd Prize, Paris. In 1989. A gold medal at the Premio Etruria, Rome, in 1991. And the gold medal of the International Academy of Contemporary Arts, Belgium, same year. Okonsar performed in major concert halls in Europe, North America and Japan, including Royal Opera House, London, Salgavo, Paris, Concertgebouw, Amsterdam, Bosendorfer Saal, Vienna, Jack Singer Concert Hall, Calgary, Symphony Hall, Salt Lake City. He performed, among many others, with the following orchestras and conductors: Utah Symphony, Poznan and Lublin Philharmonic Orchestras, Brussels Opera Orchestra, Antwerp Philharmonic, Joseph Silverstein, Charles Duthroy, Sylvain Camberling, Christoph Escher. Alexis Weissenberg, after listening to a recording by Okonsar, invited him on a scholarship to study with, in Switzerland. Weissenberg was to remain one of the strongest influences on Okonsar. Okonsar endorsed the Belgian citizenship in 1992. But at the same time, the President Süleyman Demirel, of Turkey, rewarded him with the title, State Artist of the Turkish Republic. Therefore Mehmet Okonsar settled in Turkey with his wife Lale, painter. His recital programs are usually highly eclectic and often thematic. For example, the two last sonatas by Schubert. The complete piano music by Alban Berg, Arnold Schoenberg and Anton Weber. Okonsar often distinguishes himself with this unusual programming, mixing works by Webern, Berg, Stravinsky, Stockhausen, Boulez, and Beria, with a more traditional piano repertoire. He owns and manages a CD company exclusive to his own recordings, Alamo Records, and a publishing company, Inventor Musica. He was special guest judge for the National Piano Competition of Japan in 1999, held under the auspices of the Piano Teachers National Association of Japan (PTNA), To-on. Mehmet Okonsar is included in the International Biographical Reference Book, 2000 Outstanding Musicians of the 20th Century, published by the International Biographical Centre, Cambridge, UK, Melrose Publications. His researches in music-related technologies were broadcast in a series of documentaries presented by Okonsar himself on the National Broadcast of Turkey, TRT. Also a musicologist, writer and lecturer, Okonsar's writings are published in several Turkish-language music and related publications. His essays and analyses are also offered in English and French, and he is regularly invited for lectures in universities on many subjects, mainly music, composing and technology. Free music's strong advocate, Okonsar publishes all his recordings and writings, as well as his compositions on the Internet, under the GNU, GPL, or Creative Commons licenses. Okonsar is also a prolific composer of published, performed and commissioned orchestral, chamber, choral and piano music. His composing line is highly avant-garde and complex. Mehmet Okonsar started composing at the age of 11. His role models were Arnold Schoenberg and Pierre Boulez. The compositions by Okonsar were from the beginning, exploring unusual ensembles in an avant-garde line. During the 80s, atonal free jazz, especially by Cecil Taylor, and, partly, by Chick Corea, together with the intricate voicings by Bill Evans, were the strongest stylistic influences on Okonsar's musical style. However, the total serialism was what Okonsar always used. Some extra serialist influences can be noted too in his works, especially from Krzysztof Penderecki, Ioannis Xenakis, and Ligeti. The electronic works created in the 50s and early 60s by Ligeti, Karl-Heinz Stockhausen, Xenakis and others, created a new, and previously unheard approach to classical orchestration. The sound possibilities of the classical orchestra started to be conceptualized by the composers in terms of sound envelopes, sound filters and formants. Okonsar follows similar concepts in his orchestrations. Okonsar works now from Turkey on a busy schedule, concertizing, composing, writing, publishing and teaching.